those things? It's strengthening his appeal as a kid, the comeback kid, the person who can, under all this onslaught of what he and his supporters term to be persecution, political targeting, that he can and will come back from that. There's a fascination with being able to pull off that kind of storyline. A fascination with it. And all indications are that he's going to survive all of that. He's going to beat it on appeals, on delays and everything. And he has one of the highest institutions in America on his side. People, that Supreme Court in the United States and so on, I have looked at it, especially that man called Clarence Thomas. That black man who behaves more white than the whitest of white people. That black man who is the judicial bastion of conservatism in the United States. That's what he seems most concerned about. That black man, to me, with his conservative, white-driven agenda, who looks to me that he's the de facto Chief Justice. John Roberts seems to have basically pulled himself into the background and ceded the leadership of the U.S. Supreme Court to Clarence Thomas and so on. Considering his name is Thomas and so on, that Uncle Tom, many would say, and Muhammad Ali would have called him, on that Supreme Court, the decisions that have been made to strike down what they see as liberal victories and to reinstate conservative, judgments and so on that cannot be appealed because that is the Supreme Court, I'm not a fan of abortion and all of that, but the position taken on Roe v. Wade, now they have essentially said that yes, Donald Trump has certain degrees of immunity from prosecution, and they have sent it back to the lower court that made the decision that said, his immunity doesn't apply in cases of criminal whatever and so on. You think a lower court will want to do anything that will contravene or will contradict its own Supreme Court? That's a perfect definition for what you call judicial mutiny. So there are certain things that for almost all what has been entered against Trump in judgments that they're going to toss it out. I see the Supreme Court as being the pinnacle of what in St. Lucia we call complot plus fort passé chambre. And we need in St. Lucia, especially this Labour Party, to pay attention that while we have preened ourselves and there's a lot of talk, and we seem, since Alan Shastney took over the leadership of the UWP, it appears to me that many Labour Party people have delighted in ridiculing and dismissing Alan Shastney as being a dunce, as being dumb, as being stupid, as being unintelligent, and that seems to be what they're tossing at him. Let me tell you an experience I had last year. And I beg to differ, I beg to differ then, I beg to differ now. That while Alan Shastney may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, according to the things that we gauge intelligence by, how articulate you are and how well, you come and you enunciate and you talk and whatever else it is and so on. And some of the weird things that he says. Folks, let me tell you something. There is something that they call intelligence or learning. Sometimes what you consider to be a stupid person, they may not have the features of what you deem to be astuteness, but they have a certain cunning about them. They have a certain even scumbag cunning about them. And above all, they have the associations. They have the networks. They have the people that they can link up with. And if the complot is stronger than Chembwa, which we believe in St. Lucia, you better believe that very often the complot is stronger than even the best array of what we consider to be intelligence. And we have to be careful about that. And last year, I had an experience with a strong Labour Party supporter whose Labour Party bona fides I cannot question. When I came back to St. Lucia and I started hosting, it took a while to get to real issues. Maybe we took a little less than a month and so on. But in the interim, I was doing, Can I Help You for Richard? And one night I was hosting Can I Help You? I think it was that. And I remember when I just came, that particular individual called me on the air and welcomed me back and said, he's one who's felt I should be back and is very impressed, whatever. Gave me that nice little, it's nice to have your back kind of little build-up. And then one night I was saying something on a Can I Help You program. And I said, look, We have to remember that Alan Shastney's background and a lot of his performance is in the areas of marketing, in the areas of promotions. And marketing has its own communications. There's something called marketing communications and so on. How you can use certain techniques, and you don't have to be all that bright. You just have to know what you are doing. Repetition, reinforcement, and so on of your messaging and so on. You push that thing at people. You bypass their logic, their sense of logic and analysis and objectivity and so on. All this talk about all the sugar in the sodas and what effect it can have on your teeth and so on. No, you don't go into that. You don't argue that. You talk about the nice taste, the refreshing taste, and the sparkle. And oh boy, it feels like sunshine in a bottle. It feels like liquid gold that you're drinking. And what the heck is liquid gold? What the hell is sunshine in a bottle? How do you bottle sunshine? But this is what marketing and communications and promotion and salesmanship is about. It's about bypassing your critical faculties. It's about bypassing any desire of you to be analytical. Is the taste, is the way that thing will explode with a rich freshness in your mouth. And oh my goodness, this thing's going to make you feel like you're on top of the world. That when you drink it, you'll feel like you're standing in the clouds and this kind of that. That's what it's about. And I was trying to say, with that background in marketing and all that comes with the specialized communications of marketing, you have to have been worked in a marketing thing, to understand a marketing campaign. When you say in 12 weeks, this is what we want to. You don't go and argue with the doctors. You don't go and argue. You overwhelm them. You drown them out. You swam it. And you go to people's emotions and this kind of thing. And I was saying that we have to remember. And I think I've been born out in this, the way Alan Shastney has been going. When he after something, is that he going after. All logic, all honesty, they're coming to refute and so on. No. There's $1.4 billion that's unaccounted for. There's a corruption with this infrastructure option. They've kept it a secret. 2 years, they haven't put the thing in the parliament. And he'll keep at that because they're hiding something. There's corruption. McLeod Emmanuel. That's what. He's engaging your emotions. There's something crooked going on. How many of us will stop to really study the responses and the refutations and so on? He's using the marketer's thing. Hit the same place. Even in warfare and ballistics, you have a bulletproof or whatever, a tank or whatever that has, some kind of thing that the shells and the anti-tank shells and so on. No, but if you hit it the same place roughly at some point, the armor must break down. And that's what he knows. And so I was saying, we got to know that Alan Shastney, whether we consider him to be the sharpest knife in the drawer or the furthest from that, the fact is he has been and he has worked in, and even if it is just by absorption, just by osmosis, he must have absorbed some things about that in terms of his experience in marketing, whether it be with Edge Maker, Tourist Board, whatever. He may not have been a Nobel Prize marketer and so on, but he must have come away with something. And even a few things and so on, cunningly applied, can be more effective than all the highfalutin intellectual posturings and so on. Well, that Labour Party person called the program that night, and he was a very different man from the man who had welcomed me to St. Lucia. It's nice to have you back. He tumbled down in my tail on the program. And like he was even raising his voice, you swear the guy was shouting at me on the phone. You're making Alan Shastney sound too brilliant. You're making him sound too wise. You're making him sound like he's so great. I know he went on and on and on and on and on. He's never called me after that. To be fair, I've never called him too. He's never spoken to me. We have never encountered each other. But you got a sense that there's been a wall of frostiness over that which has come up between us. He's not the only one. I've had that experience with quite a few people. Not many, but I know why. I have this gentle soul kind of persona, kind of demeanor, kind of personality about me and so on. And especially when I'm with people that I consider to be elders and betters and experience, I tend to be a little deferential and humble towards them and so on. And in the case of a couple of people, not more than one or two, there's not many of them, I think because of my little gentle soul, modesty and humility, I'm not singing my own praises. I believe they've developed what I call a cocky sense of eldership towards me. I say T-boy you for life, like you go on, you know, so you say parlez bon moi, you know, mod you vle and so on. A lot of things, you know, the turn the other chick guy, you know, so you dump on him when you want and so on. So there are a few people who, because I have shown them some deference and respect, because of my personality and my desire to learn, they have developed that what I call cocky sense of eldership over me. I ain't going to cuss them off because I want to let them know I'm tough like massage you. I'm not going to do it. The greatest danger when you find difficult people is not what they can do to you, whether in terms of embarrassment, is that they can provoke you to change and not for the better. And so I'm always vigilant about that. And nobody should provoke me, should embarrass me or whatever into changing for the worse. So let them retain their cocky sense of eldership and so on. But that was a situation that I had with somebody. Let me tell you something. You see what Alan Shastney is doing there, the repetitive kind of going after a non-issue but hoping by sheer dint of repetition and ignoring, just the same way the marketer does not engage with the diabetes medical expert and so on. Is the soft drink I want to sell, you know, this thing about dental decay and this. No, let's not argue with them. Let's just go after that taste in your mouth, and you keep doing that, you know, and all the visual sounds, you know, you know, yeah, all this, it sounds almost sexual to you, pleasure and this kind of thing. Haven't you noticed something that Alan Shastney has been doing? And we probably think again that the fault is because of his stupidity. Alan Shastney writes a lot of open letters or letters that are supposedly addressed to this minister or governor or whatever it is, but it's always copied to the Caribbean Development Bank. And sometimes you wonder, well, what's the relevance? How does Caribbean Development Bank find itself into this? It's always copied to the IMF. It's always copied to the World Bank. It's always copied to this. Why is it doing it? And like I say, for many people, the default assumption is he's being a moron. He's being stupid. He's being a fool. He's being fatuous. And they will add as usual with it. Perhaps sometimes the stupidity, as we conclude, as we believe, as we assume, may not be that at all. It may be part of the wider complot. This complot plus fort par ces tiens-bois. Sometimes the complot is much more powerful and much more effective than genuine intelligence. Always copying into Caribbean Development Bank? Is there possibly, and I'm not saying there is there possibly a connection between the unprecedented coup that took place at the Caribbean Development Bank against their own president? They overthrew and pushed out their own president, who just happens to be a St. Lucian. CDB has a long history. You ever hear anything like that with Caribbean Development Bank? You ever heard there was any uprising against, was it William Dimas or Curly King or whoever it was and so on at Caribbean, or Dr. Compton Bond, or what was the name of that gentleman from Jamaica, the Redskin man and so on, you know? You ever heard there was any uprising against any of them like that, to the extent that it spilled over into public and so on, and Dr. Jean Leon? I'm not saying there's a connection, you know, but you need to ask yourself some questions when you see them kind of things happening. And when you see a dude, whatever he writes always, is that dude in a way that we are dismissive of keeping somebody or some people at CDB in the loop? Is it a signaling that is taking place? Is it a coded communication and so on? We need to ask ourselves those questions. And sometimes we need to link them. There may be no link, you know. But when we look at the Millennium Highway and what has been happening there, yes, it ain't our money, the government of St. Lucia money. It's the British who donated money, but the British said they need an agency who know the ground and so on, so that that money will be disbursed for the project and so on in a manner that will ensure that it was, you know, completed and used as is. So CDB was the agency that they chose. They couldn't have chosen a better one in my mind. And so CDB was responsible, correct me if I'm wrong, for appointing or selecting the consultant. That is the person who would, I think, give guidance to the project and so on, and also the contractor. We know who the consultant is. We know who the contractor is. CDB is based in Barbados. The contractor is a Barbadian company. No stranger to St. Lucia. They have a long history of doing a lot of work. And I venture to say good work in St. Lucia. You wonder why a company with that kind of experience and so on, that project on Millennium Highway seems to have stretched and went on and on and on like it's going on forever. To the extent that the minister responsible has said this thing has been a source of frustration to him. And apparently even the contractor, based upon what came out on Zafenu with Yadi and Jaim, it appears that, the contractor went and they had to write a letter to explain why the delay and so on, like they themselves were frustrated and so on. We have to ask ourselves, this constant writing and copying of correspondence to CDB, this overthrowing of a St. Lucian, this unprecedented overthrowing of a St. Lucian, the first time I think a St. Lucian became president of the CDB and they move against him in a manner that they considered was constructive dismissal. The absolute fiasco and quagmire, even though lately we have seen signs of an uptick in the speed of the progress to finish it. I think they say now they'll do it at the end of July. But look at the time. Hurricane season start early. I don't understand. I'm not an engineer. The way it's been done, that piece is being done, then you skip and you go and put that other piece and whatever it is. I ain't saying it's deliberate, But in a hurricane season, when this piece below Monkey Town is left and big holes, and in Cicero the water going to come down there and that's where it will hit, and this other spot they skip it over and holes there like anything, you can't get one continuous piece. Does somebody know what they're doing exactly? Exactly. Is it intentional? You do this piece, you leave this piece undone. So if a heavy rain come, if for example Beryl had dropped more rain and what's coming behind it adds to the rain that Beryl dropped, that maybe the exposed pieces, they're gone. And because of the pressure, because in engineering, people will know a lot of things like hydrostatics and hydrodynamics and hydrology and movement of water and how it will do and how this piece, how the water will plane down from that place and so on, where there is drain and hit against the one that don't have no drain. And that piece, yes, it may remain so, but the water table high now and it's under it and you haven't finished doing what you're doing with it in a certain time and so on. So, it may not last, or it might mash up, or what is not yet finished might go, and then it might put pressure on what is finished already, so you might end up having, I don't know, I'm not an engineer, but I'm saying those in a position to look at those things need to look at them closely. Look at them closely and ask yourself whether what is happening with Millennium Highway as only one example, is it by coincidence or is it by design? And has the time arrived when whatever plan or plot or complot is in its best position for what was planned for it to happen? Because the hurricane season is here. And I'm talking about the rainy part, the heavy rainy part, the flood part, the downpour part, the how many inches of rain in so many few hours and so on, that part and so on. We need to ask ourselves whether the association with Caribbean Development Bank, whether the association with certain people who end up getting the job as contractor and consultant, and the overthrow, the targeted overthrow of a St. Lucian, the first St. Lucian as president, and all those letters that been copied every time they go into CDB and IMF and World Bank and so on, whether it really represents stupidity or whether it represents what we dismiss because we think people are stupid, part of a plot. They know who the people are inside there. They have their contacts. They're signaling something to them. They're sending some messages to them for certain things to be done. We may think we have all the advantages of intelligence and learning on our side, but changer, complot, plus fort, passer tien bois. Et si plus fort passer complot, de let complot, plus fort passer indication too. Haven't we heard in all what has come out what Ralph Gonzalez has had to say? what his son and the foreign minister, finance minister, I think Camilo Gonzalez has had to say. What we find Gaston Brown has had to say, that this is weird about this whole thing that has happened to Dr. Hyginus Jean Leo at the Caribbean Development Bank, that there's also a Canadian matrix to it. Because there are some countries that are members of the CDB. They are non-borrowing members, China, France, Canada, I think. They put money into the CDB and they have some influence over its policy, who it lends to, what it lends for, etc., etc. Haven't we heard that there is a mysterious Canadian matrix in it? Not the fact that Canada has representation in the governance of the CDB, maybe has the right to have 2 governors or how many governors, whatever. But that's not what I'm saying. But there have been some curious things about the Canadian aspect of the governance of CDB from what I'm getting. I wouldn't say more on that. Is that something we need to pay attention to, given who said, who declared, who described himself as being a product of Canada? Sometimes they may not have a lot of smarts as we define the smarts, but they may have a lot of cunning about them, including scumbag cunning, to pull off or to at least be part of plots and conspiracies. Complot plus fort par ses tiens bois, et delay plus fort par ses indications. This is the real issues. Let's take a break. When we come back, I promise the phone lines are yours.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi bus stop, opposite the Grosile bus stop. Prio's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you, at Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The man, the voice, the voice, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
I say we need to watch how the wind is blowing. We need to heed and correctly interpret the signs so that we can identify the enemy and respond in ways that are not just appropriate but timely. This is the Real Issues. Telephone lines are open to take your calls. The numbers to dial are the mobile that you can WhatsApp call us on. I think it's the same as yesterday, right? We had a little switch, Jaquan. So you can call us on 487-9849, 487-9849, and of course the landline 4533-911. We have our first caller already. Good afternoon, Real Issues.
Hello, good day.
Yeah, hold on, caller. We just doing a little adjustment there, a little tweak.
Okay, no problem. I'm holding on.
Hi, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oops.
Yes, loud and clear. How you doing, Shelton? How?
Yeah,
what did Beryl did to you?
Yeah, caller. Beryl did absolutely nothing to me. I personally came through totally
as you know, we from Library, we got hard hit. My shop, well, thankfully my shop was not flooded, but the whole street to my shop, it was literally flooded.
Wow.
Yeah, some people, their homes, their properties got damaged, but thankfully there was no loss of life.
Okay. So what's it look like? The cleanup is it?
Oh yeah. They came yesterday. The backhoe, they did a great job in cleaning up the place and removing the debris.
Okay.
From the area, but you know there is still by the beachfront. Literally, we don't have a beach anymore. The field got implicated real bad.
Wow.
Yes. So it will take a long time for us to get back to some normalcy.
Okay.
But that is good.
Did the sea cough up a lot of garbage and so on?
A lot, quite a bit,
That's a sad thing, but when you look at you have
the Prime Minister, yes, the Prime Minister was there yesterday. He came to have a first-hand view. So
Okay.
and we appreciated that. You know, you could see a caring Prime Minister after a storm he passed. I mean, that's their duty on the whole, but you know, to pass and assess and see what's going on.
Okay.
Yes. So I appreciate you coming there as usual and informing us, letting us know what's going on.
All right. Thank you very much, my friend.
And have a good one.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
All right. Blessings to you.
All right,
Bye.
All right. 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that number, 487-9849. And the landline 4533-911. You can direct call us on that. We have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Yes, good afternoon, Sheldon. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, and you, my friend?
Oh, cool, you know. Sheldon, I heard you mention about that road, that Kalizap road. And my concern has always been about the poor quality of road that have road contractors have continuously given us. And we are seeing it right now. And they cannot say it is because of rainy season, because even before the rainy season, much of the partying that they were doing, okay, a number of them is that in the holes popping up again. I do not know, but some people in infrastructure and some of those construction folks seem to be putting a cord in the neck of the government, because I can recall the frustration by taxi drivers, by minibus drivers, and people who own vehicles because of the poor road conditions and the damage that those potholes and the road conditions did to the vehicles. And I'm seeing it coming up all over again. Okay? I remember when people were criticizing I think they changed the chief engineer, and you begin to see they doing the roads proper. But soon after that, infrastructure went back to the same old poor potholing. And it seems people are benefiting, and again, people are trying to put a cord in the neck of the government. A chief engineer and the minister for infrastructure need to take notice, because when them roads, because they're already getting bad already, and people are getting angry, and we are coming closer to an election, okay, that is when we will see what is happening. I'm calling again, Shelton, that if you could bring the chief engineer on, so people can ask questions. Why is it, okay, that we are doing potholing just for a couple of days? For it to come back, somebody is making money out of that, or somebody is there to make the government look bad, okay? And we need to deal with it now, rather than let the road get bad, and election comes, and the government now will be scrambling to try to save a stitching line. So this is my thing, Sheldon. If you could bring the chief engineer so that we could hear what they are saying. Because if you go up, and I'll end on that one, if you go up from Massey Mega and start going up that hill there by Wyndham to go all Brazil, all of that, they just did but not Bondale. When you pass Badouan going up that hill before Moshi, they just did that. And look at how bumpy, and my God, we need to do something with the road, Charlotte. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you. Same to you, my friend. All right. Don't forget that the mobile number on which you can WhatsApp call us is now 487-9849, 487-9849. And you can continue to call us on our studio direct landline that everybody knows, 4533-911. We have another call on the line. Good afternoon.
Really, what's up, man?
Hey, you doing okay?
That's Father there, Winston Lubin.
Hey, what's up, my buddy?
First of all, I've just kept in touch with you.
Yes, always a pleasure. Two minutes, Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to understand and trying to really look at how St. Lucian, how the media behaves, particularly those that are far left comments, So the Prime Minister must not have a moment of levity.
Oh, these are people who will always, they have their own prejudiced agenda before. Like I said in the Senate the other day, something my late mother used to tell us, her children, Laura Mundeo, c'est Deo Yuyu. Ça fait sauvler, c'est Deo Yuyu. When they're out to get you, they'll turn even the most little innocuous comment or little moment of levity, try to make a big deal out of it, because they're out to politically snipe you. Yeah.
I have known the Prime Minister for so long, and he's such a gentleman, He's with everybody, he mingles with everybody. Yeah. He jokes, he's with the people, he's on the ground, he's in the ground, he's everywhere talking to people, trying to make them feel happy. and then his moment of levity, and then make it an issue that he's against his own country.
Yeah, to make
When you want to call talking some nonsense, then you have a Joseph Harris who calls spewing some nonsense again. Shortly enough, Rick will call and Tom will have to pay. But I don't understand how these fellas behave, Shelton. It's embarrassing to hear how these fellas behave, man. And as you said, Leo, they will say, yeah.
Yes.
It's embarrassing, man.
Indeed.
I mean, Pierre, he left, he's looking, he's visiting, he's trying to be with his people, he's talk to them. And I'm certain, Pierre told them, man, he's not going to buy him a bell rum. They shouldn't be happy about that. Rather than he gets him 2 shots of bumpy and then he gets knocked down by the road or hit by a car or wind takes him when he's on the road. Isn't it better that you tell him I'll give him a Coke instead?
Yes.
I'm trying to understand this, Sheldon.
Indeed.
Anyway, I thought I should call and tell you that because, a Prime Minister, I love my Prime Minister, and his moments of levity should not be taken that seriously.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your call.
Good.
And maybe, we just have to resign ourselves that it's par for the course in politics that, there are going to be people who will do that, who will turn everything into some big, brouhaha and make a big deal of it, make some kind of mountain after a molehill. And like he said, he loves his prime minister. A lot of people don't. Some people don't. They actually hate him, and for no other reason than they support a party other than the one that he leads. It's amazing the degree of politically inspired hatred that we have. And what we must do is try not to fall that way ourselves. Those of us who have the alertness, the consciousness and so on to see it, for us not to fall into it. There's just a lot of it around. People wishing death on other people, and it's just absolutely mind-boggling, astounding to think of the amount of it that there is and how intense it is. We have another caller on the line. Good afternoon. Real Issues. Hello.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing?
The Honorable Senator.
Hey, what's up? And now I get the voice. Bernard, what's up, no man?
Children, I am indeed happy and grateful that they will go through the hand and spare the lives and almost the whole of the island. I saw some videos coming from my hometown, which I was a little baffled by.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is about time that we start to learn to adhere to the authorities in times like these, where when danger is at hand, that we should try as best as possible. Mm-hmm. Because when I saw people in the water, in that kind of water, and to make matters worse, the foolish thing about it, I saw people taking out their shoes trying to walk. I mean, you have a shoe on your feet, you're taking it out and walking in that kind of deep water.
Yeah.
In a cemetery, you're looking for trouble.
And not only that too, the color of the water, the brown water, you cannot see what is in it,
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I saw people at the beach front, people standing on tables and chairs and the waves are coming and they trying to run with Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
These things I don't know how we think as a people, But all in all, I say thank God that we were spared, and I hope that lessons will be learned even from the little of things, Sheldon,
yes,
it is a question I have always asked Miguel, but I mean, and I think this was one of the things that brought us closer together as friends. But I'm still going to ask the question.
Mm.
In this time and age where AI is already in a state where people start to use AI already, Shelton, or AI is already what is in us already. I want to ask the question, Shelton. I do not want to compare St. Lucia to the country that I live in.
Mm.
I don't want it to look like that. But Sheldon, when they give the weather news here in the US, right? For example, I'm listening to Channel 7. We had a storm here on Sunday too. We had one on Sunday.
Okay.
It was not as bad as Bell, but we usually frame it as a storm. We had lightning, thunder, rain,
okay,
trees falling, wind.
Right.
We had one.
Right.
But here's the thing. When these meteorologists give the weather, Shelton, it goes like Sunday at 7 o'clock in Howard County, you have 10 inches of rain.
Mm.
The waves will be up to 4 feet at that beach.
Mm.
People who are venturing to Jones Beach, please do not go they actually tell you the very place that there is going to be more rain, more water, the height of the wave. The information is specific. We are telling you in Kings County, they are going to have 10 inches of rain, and why can't we, as media houses in St. Lucia, why can't they not get the same equipment and to give the people specific weather reports like this, Shelton? I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't want people to feel that I want to compare the US to St. Lucia, but I'm saying these are equipment that the television stations have. They have their own weather meteorologists. They have their own meteorologists. Every station has a meteorologist that will give you the weather. They will tell you there is 10 inches of snow at 10 o'clock in the morning. By afternoon, 1 o'clock, it will subside. But in St. Lucia, I could literally tell you the weather report.
Okay. Do you want me to explain it to you?
What's that?
Do you want me to explain to you why this is so?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here's the explanation. When you're dealing with the United States, you are dealing with a very large land mass. Therefore, the predictions of the weather would be easier for them to make with the kind of precision and detail because they are dealing with a large continuous land mass. A land mass that has relatively small, even though by our standards they are very large, bodies of water, rivers and lakes in them. But the weather is mostly driven by the phenomenon of the air circulation over a large continuous landmass. In the Caribbean islands, such as St. Lucia and the island chain, the reverse. Much of the weather is determined by the sea conditions. So it's really marine weather features that happen to apply to small land masses that get in the way. In other words, a barrel moving is a barrel whose features and how you call that, whose measurements and so on have to do with the sea conditions. It is just coincidence that tiny 238 square miles in Lucia and 166 square mile Barbados, they get in the way. It's very difficult for a meteorologist who's faced with criteria that apply to this overwhelming body of seawater and to apply it with specific detail to a very tiny landmass that happens to be in the way and that the system will pass over and go beyond in short order. In the United States, something starts in Florida, and let us say it is moving from the southern tip of Florida and moving northward. You understand? That's a lot more land than you have in all those Caribbean islands already. It will skip over from Florida. What borders Florida in the north? Texas, whatever it is. It will go over there. It is still moving through a very vast land body. So detailed predictions can be made because it is a landmass. In the Caribbean, they see Beryl coming. Beryl is driven by the sea, its sea conditions, sea surface temperatures. Beryl comes and it swarms over Barbados. Barbados is really insignificant in the context of the size of Beryl and the things that are driving it. Yes, it's going to do a lot of damage. Yes, it's going to affect people. But you cannot predict for 166 square mile Barbados over a storm system that's 5,000 square miles large, and when it will pass over Barbados and just incidentally blow away Barbados, but it will continue over the Caribbean Sea as a large marine area, as the United States is a large land area. So they cannot do it with that kind of precision because much of what applies is applicable to marine weather conditions.
I got you. So I will never ask that question. I got you. Manu, Google and I have gone through that back and forth, and he has left. Google, you see you?
Yeah.
I go drop you because you've never explained this thing to me like this. The other thing, Shelton, I wanted to say, two other things. It was nice to see the Prime Minister is making the rounds after the storm conditions, passing around, checking and see how it reminds me in what? When Lenny hit Soufre,
yes.
that Kenny Anthony came by and,
yes.
It reminds me of that. But one of my things, Shelton, I think somebody was trying to make a joke out of the alcohol part. I think what Mr. Pierre did there yesterday, it shows that our politics is not just chicken and rum. And I really applaud him for not contributing to the gentleman's alcoholic truth.
It demonstrates that Philip cares.
Yes, definitely. you are ready in a condition, and I will not. Regardless of what has been said afterwards. Yeah. I mean, I am here. You go to the store.
Now, Bernard, you may get cut off at any moment because it's 2 o'clock already, and the lotto might cut in, and we have to go. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Now go ahead, finish your point. But I'm just saying that we might just have. Yeah.
No, it's all right. I won't.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe I can ask for a couple minutes of extra time because I've just been sent a voice note where someone is talking about the impact that burial is having on Jamaica. Okay, so we go for the lotto and we have some extra time today.
Double Daily Grand 4, 6, 15, 18. Big 4, 8, 2, 6, 1. Big for Multi-X FP. Pick 2, 0, 9. Pick 2 Multi-X FP. 1 off 4, 0, 2. Lucky 3, 1, 7, 8. Lucky 3 Multi-X 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Shelton, I totally agree with you. Alan Shasney is no fool. The Labour Party must give him the blow to weaken him. Never ignore him. Another person messaged me to say your analyses are close and real and have much truth. I hope those who should are listening and not dismissing. And don't keep thinking they are dealing with a dunce who has a kitchen sink cabinet. All right, thank you very much for that. Now, we got a voice note from somebody in Jamaica, I think, telling us, I haven't heard it before, but I've been assured that it's okay for airplay. So let's play, if we have it. Jaquan, do you have it already? All right, let's play this note from somebody in Jamaica who's telling us about what Hurricane Beryl is doing to them there.
Joe, it's kind of crazy up in the hills where we are. The trees and the bamboos and the wind, you can hear the river down there tearing down like some river or something. Yeah, man, it is really, yeah.
Let's play that again because the start wasn't too clear. Let's look back on that one.
Hi, Nigel. It's kind of crazy up in the hills where we are. The trees and the bamboos and the wind, you can hear the river down there tearing down like some river or something. Yeah, man, it is really, yeah.
All right, so I don't know if that what part of Jamaica that was, but from another part of Jamaica, Montego Bay, another person in that country says in Mobe, short for Montego Bay, we haven't had anything out of the norm. All right, so I suppose Jamaica is fairly large. One part, from what that first person in the voice clip said, the wind is kicking up. They can begin to see the agitation of the trees and etc. All right. So let me look at. Do we have anything on the real issues? Yeah. All right. We hear a lot of things. There's a lot of propaganda swirling, and I'll say let's not allow ourselves to have our minds shaken and to be too bothered, by them. It's gonna happen all the time. Good afternoon to all you people on the Real Issues WhatsApp group. Bernard Haynes is there. Let me see if I can just catch some of them. There's so many of them. So I think the interaction will speak for itself among those who have contributed. Thank you very much for that. Let's do this again tomorrow. I got some more to tell you, some very interesting things about a communications expert who was functioning in another of the OECS territories, working with a Labour Party in one of the OECS territories, and after they had finished whatever they were doing for elections, they brought that communications expert to St. Lucia the Labour Party, to work for the Labour Party. What happened with that communications expert? Who may have influenced him to take a certain course of action that he did, and where he ended up eventually? It's a very interesting story that I think will basically buttress the point that I am making. Labour Party, don't take for granted that because the substance of government is supposedly with you, that because the strength of learning and intellect and articulation and intelligence, you can boast of being the cup that holds all of these and so on. Don't ever take for granted that the power of cunning and complot and scumbag street smarts and so on cannot tip you over. I think it has happened before. There's nothing which says it cannot have a significant impact again. And if things in the United States take the turn that they possibly could take this year, just watch how it will energize and invigorate certain people who probably had not given even themselves a fighting chance against you, that they will now fancy their chances so much more. And that energy can cause them to give the impression that they're on some kind of roll. And very often people are swayed by who they think the momentum is in their favor. I mean, just watch it. Don't take things for granted. And this way that people like to dismiss and talk down other people and so on, who they believe are more stupid than them, we need to look at that a lot more closely. Be very careful with that. It can sometimes be a person's undoing. That's the real issues for this Wednesday. Thank you so very much, everyone, for having been part of it, for listening, for your participation, for your messages, your contributions to the discussions and so on WhatsApp and on the Facebook Live. Thanks to Jaquan for once again doing a wonderful job as our technical operator. And thanks, Nigel, our station manager, for supplying some of the material that we used and being the behind-the-scenes guiding hand who helps to make things work when sometimes we seem like we are going to be overwhelmed with certain issues and so on, internal issues, the technicals and so on, for piloting us through it all and so on and navigating us through it. Appreciate that as well. Shelton Daniel, signing out.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate